Hello Vikings, and welcome back to the Valheim Guide episode 17, where we're talking today all about plains farming, and specifically farming flax and barley. So we're going to go through the whole process of how you get everything in the first place, how you farm it efficiently, and then what you can do with it once you farmed it. So let's jump straight into it. So first up, let's talk about where you can actually get the barley and flax from in the first place, and that's going to be from fueling camps. Now, if you want a bit of a more in-depth guide on how to raid these fueling camps, you can watch my last episode in this series where I covered that in more detail. But I'm going to go ahead and take down all the fuelings here, and we'll have a look for that barley and flax. Now, I will say that not every fueling village will have barley and flax growing in it, so you might want to check first. I have to do it on this camp anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I'll check afterwards. So in these fueling camps, when they do have flax and barley, this is what it will look like. So this right here is the barley, and this right up here is the flax. So you're able to just pick that up, and once you've picked it up and you use it with a cultivator, you'll be able to grow more of your own. So once you have your flax and your barley, the next thing to do is get your cultivator and go ahead and make a farm up and then plant it. So you probably by this stage of the game know how to do this, but just to mention that the flax and barley do have to be planted within the plains biome. So you do need to be in a plains and cultivate the soil there in order to grow them. I will say don't worry about the windmills just yet. They will be explained later on in this video. I'm not shooting everything in order, that's why they're already up. But with your cultivator in hand, once you've cultivated a nice farm area, as you can see that I have here in the plains biome, then you just go ahead and plant. And it's just like anything else, you just plant it down on the floor as you would with any other crop. Now, in terms of the spacing between each of the crops that you plant down here, you just need the 1x1 wood floor. So what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and place a load of these down, and then you guys will get a good feel for exactly how much space you need. So there we go, guys. A few of them placed down now to give you a good idea of how much space you need to leave in between these. As you can see, it's not too much, and I thought I'd mention that because they do feel a lot bigger than when you're planting things like turnips and carrots, but they don't actually need that much space. And that's the barley, but it's the same thing for the flax. So then you can just go ahead and obviously plant down the rest of them in your farm. Now, once you have planted all of your barley and flax, it will take about 2 to 3 in-game days for it to fully grow. So one way obviously you can speed this up is to ensure that when it comes to nighttime you sleep through it, as this quickly passes the time and will mean that your crops will sort of grow faster. I mean, basically they're taking the same amount of time, but the nighttime that you skip by sleeping does get counted into that. So it's a useful little way of getting things to grow a little bit quicker. And once it's all grown, it will look like this. So you can see we've got the flax here and we've got some barley over here. So go ahead and pick all it up and harvest it. And then obviously make sure that you save enough of this to replant so that your farm can grow before you use it in the ways that I'm about to show you. Now you can see when the flax is almost done, it's this blue color, so that's a good indication that it's about to grow. When you see your field all blue like that, so obviously it does stand out quite a bit. So in terms of what we're actually going to do with it, we got here a bit of barley on us and a bit of flax on us. So the barley actually goes into the windmill. So if we go around the back here, this is where you put your barley. So we'll put all 4 of that in there. And then you just need to wait. So we're going to wait for that, and then out the front here we'll get the barley process. Now the recipe for one of these windmills, incidentally, you can see here you'll need the artisan table, 30 iron nails, 30 wood and 20 stones. So they're not actually too difficult to make, and they do actually require wind in order to work. If you were to like box one of these in and not let any wind get to it, it wouldn't work. This one right here now is spinning quite quickly. In fact, they both are, as you can see. So this should actually work pretty quickly. I think it works faster the more windy that it is. And there we go, it's all been processed, and you see here we can pick up the barley flour. So there is the barley flour. As you see there, it says great for baking bread. So let's go and look at how we do that process. Okay, so the next step is to upgrade our cauldron to the full level, which is actually quite a nice stage to be at the game, as we'll unlock some new things for us. So that's with these pots and pans here. You see you need 5 black metal for that, as well as 5 iron, copper and 10 fine wood. It's not too difficult to make, but does require you to be at the black metal stage. So I guess I'll just put it up there for now. That seems like a good spot for it. And boom, there we go. All of these new recipes. So the blood pudding, bread dough, unbaked lox pie, and I think fish wraps as well. So you see here the barley flour that we've got. You can use it to make up the blood pudding, which is a fantastic stamina food. You can also use it to make the bread dough. Now we need 10 barley flour in order to make 2 of the bread dough here in this cauldron, and you can use it to make fish wraps, which are a fantastic health food, 70 health for them. And the other thing you can make, of course, is the unbaked lox pie, and you see there you just need 4 barley flour for that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up the lox pie and also the bread dough, and then show you how we can bake those those, because the blood pudding is pretty obvious, as is the fish wraps. You just use the materials on screen and make them in the cauldron as you do with anything else. But the pie and the bread dough require a further step. Okay, so with all the ingredients on me, let's go ahead and make up 2 of the bread dough, and we'll also make up a nice unbaked lox pie as well. So I've been doing a little bit of work near this farm, as you can see here. Got my artisan table placed down. I had to get some iron smelted up in order that we could make ourselves one of these things, the stone oven with the 15 iron, 20 stone for circling core, and you need the artisan table nearby. So I'm going to go ahead and place that down just like this, and then take some of this down, get the materials I need, and then show you how we're going to bake our unbaked lox pie and also our bread dough. Okay, so I've got here a bit of wood in order to put into the bottom of the oven just here, so we can go ahead and add all of that in there, and then we can put in our food just up here. So we only have 3 items. If I zoom right in, and in fact, let's have a little sit down, you'll get a better view of these things. You can actually see them in the oven. So you can see there that they're not baked right now. This is how it looks. And the smoke coming out is kind of like minimal grey sort of smoke. Now, as you walk away from the oven, you'll see the doors actually close. But when you get close, you can open those doors up and have a look at them. So now let's have a look at how we know when these are cooked. Okay, so we heard a bit of a noise there, and also you can see the graphic has changed, and there's this sort of whiter, brownish sort of smoke that's coming out the front of the oven. Now that means that everything is cooked, and you don't see this smoke get to a stage where it goes black, because if it does, then that means that you have burnt your items, and that's obviously not so fun. We got everything out there, and you can see now we have 2 bread, and we have 1 lox pie. So if I hover over this, you see the bread is a fantastic stamina food, giving us 70 stamina, and the lox pie is a fantastic health food, giving us 75 health. So this is definitely some late game food items that are farmable and reasonably easy to make once you get the system set up in place. Now I will say with this oven, obviously I've built mine outside, which you can do. You can also of course build it inside, but do make sure that you're venting the smoke from that comes out the back here in the same way that you would with like a fireplace or something like that. Now as for your flax, you need to make one of these things, a spinning wheel. Now you can make it look a lot nicer than I have here. Basically the flax goes in there and then comes out of the right hand side here, and it needs a roof over it. So I just quickly sort of did this on stream, but it does really illustrate the points. You see there we can add up to 40, and you just hold down E to put all of that in, and it will automatically process for you. So let's go ahead and put all the flax in there, and then we'll see what happens when it comes out the other end. And just to say as well, what I'm going to do now is go and have a snooze because it's nighttime, and just like other like mechanics in the game, you can go to sleep, and this will process overnight whilst you're sleeping. Now in order to make the spinning wheel in the first place, what you're going to require is the 10 iron nails, 20 fine wood, 5 leather scraps, and the artisan table. So you would have needed to have defeated Moda by then, but it's not too intensive in terms of the materials that it needs. So here we are back in the morning, and we're going to get all of this wonderful stuff right here, which is the linen thread. So this will unlock a ton of new recipes when you get it for the first time. Let's go have a look now at what we can actually use that thread for. So the linen thread has a number of different recipes that you can use it for in the game. Things like this right here, the linen cape, which as you can see comes in a variety of wonderful colors. So you need a bit of thread and silver for that one, for example. You can also make up the very fun lox saddle, and that requires the linen thread as well as a bit of black metal. Now, I have on my channel a full guide on the lox and how to breed them and ride them, that sort of thing, if you're interested. But there's a couple things you can make with that, and the lox saddle obviously being a lot of fun. Then if we come over to the forge, there's a load of other stuff you can make, including this stuff. This is padded armor. So the padded cuirass and the padded greaves right there, each of them requiring 20 of the linen thread. And obviously to upgrade each of these armor items, you'll need even more linen thread for that. So a number of different things that the thread can be used for, and basically all of them are pretty much late game items. So that's why we want to get farming some of that flax and spinning it into the thread so that we can progress to all of that end game gear. So hopefully you guys have learned something about flax and barley today, or at least enjoyed the episode. And of course the dad jokes will be coming in just a second. I did want to say that if you guys want to make sure you catch these streams and also be part of some upcoming giveaways that I'm doing, then I recommend you check out my Discord. Link to that is down in the description, and you can join us there and join my notification squad to never miss when I go live on YouTube or Twitch, or when I post a YouTube video. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. So, as today's episode was all about farming, let's do some corny farming jokes. Why did the scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. What does the farmer talk about when he's milking cows? Utter nonsense. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. Why did the pig dump her boyfriend? Because he was a real bore. Knock knock. Who's there? Cows go. Cows go who? No, cows go moo.